UK consumers enjoy the luxury of cheap, plentiful food and a varied and unseasonal diet. But that relies on imports of fresh and processed produce, 40% of which comes from the European Union. What and how much we import changes with the seasons, but in winter, 90% of lettuces, 85% of tomatoes and 70% of soft fruit comes from the EU. Now, if there's no deal, importers would have to pay tariffs. That's taxes on imported goods. How much depends on what it is. And while the average tariff would be over 20%, it'll be higher for some products. Take branded cheese like feta, halloumi or gorgonzola. They'd have a 55% tariff. Cured pork like Italian prosciutto or Bavarian sausages would have 31%. And a drizzle of olive oil will be 32% more expensive to import in the event of a no deal. What does that add up to for the consumer? That's hard to say precisely, but there are some estimates. The British Retail Consortium says tariffs across the board will add £3.1 billion to our collective shopping bill. The Food and Drink Federation says it will be more like £10 billion or £360 per household once tariffs on packaging and other elements of production are added. Supermarkets will play a key role in deciding how much cost to absorb to stay competitive, and our food choices may be affected by price, which could favour UK produce. But even with a deal and no tariffs, new red tape and border delays will add costs. The LSE estimates new procedures could increase the cost of goods by 8%, with import declarations alone adding £4 billion to traders' costs every year. Now, it's worth saying the UK currently has the cheapest food in Western Europe. It's 8% cheaper than average. You can see on this index how it is much better placed than some heavily taxed countries not in the EU. But deal or no deal, the cost of food is going to rise for businesses and very possibly consumers, while choice and availability may be reduced, at least at first. And none of that was on the menu offered to voters in 2016.